Okay, so in this session, I would like to talk a little bit more about the three levels of will, which correspond to the three levels of life blockage: need, want, and desire. Okay, now the way I define them: need are the things you need, or else you'll die. Very simple. The things you need in order to survive: food, shelter, safety, clean water, etc., etc. So that's need. Want are the things you want in order to avoid emotional pain, right? And emotional pain, examples of emotional pain: humiliation, social humiliation. Everyone thinks I'm an idiot. Loss of prestige or social status, or the loss of feeling good enough. I just don't feel good enough. I feel like I'm not trying hard enough. People are laughing at me. People are disappointed in me. And the deepest, sort of most almost poisonous, hardcore version of avoiding emotional pain is uh, the loss of feeling being worthy of love, right? So if I don't do this, I feel like I don't deserve love, even from myself, which is just complete BS, but also pure poison. And a lot of us are fall prey to this. Okay. So what are the things we want, quote unquote, in order to avoid this? It's money and prestige, achievement, body image, people pleasing. We want to people please everyone around us in order to feel good enough, in order to avoid emotional pain. Okay. So if I don't have money and prestige, but I have enough money, that's not a need. I can still put food on the table and not die, right? But a want is the next level of money and prestige in order to not feel like, you know, a nincompoop, a failure, or whatever, right? Even though a failure, even though I may be a failure, that can still pay the bills and feed myself. So that's the difference between need and want. Now you may note that both need and want are driven by fear. It's all fear. It's all fear, threat, and control. Need, I better, get food on the table, or I'm gonna. So you have like this threat gun to your head, right? Want, I better make my revenue number. I better get the next promotion, or else I'm not going to be able to afford the car or the vacation or the house, and I'll fall out of my social circle. It's not even about the pleasure of going on vacation. It's just the fear of not being able to go on the same vacation every year, and you fall out of your social circle, um, and you experience emotional pain, humiliation, loss of prestige, loss of belonging, etc., etc. Right, so these are all perfectly reasonable, but they are based on fear. And the other thing I observe is that like 80% of our lives, or maybe 90% of our lives in the modern world, 80% of your effort is focused on fulfilling your needs and wants. Think about what you do every day, right? You're working, you're managing your external sort of social image, you're making sure your body looks the right way, you're buying things to make sure everything looks the right way. And yeah, you're putting food on the table, but for most of us, that's not a big deal. It's more the want, fearing humiliation and pain. So that's need and want. So you're like, okay, Artie, well, what's even left? That's isn't that everything? There's a third level. There's a third level, which is desire. Need, want, and last but not least, desire. So desire are the things you desire for, at least from the Chinese dad perspective, the things you desire for no good reason. Like if you like knitting, it's not going to make you famous. It's not going to make you money. It's not going to give you prestige. It's not going to help you put food on the table, typically. But so sue me. I just like knitting. What can I tell you? Right. And so your Chinese dad, metaphorically, um, I am actually a Chinese dad, so I can say these things. So your Chinese dad in your head would be like, knitting, how are you going to make money doing that? Right? Who's going to marry you? Who's going to love you? Who's going to what kind of impressive friends are you going to have just knitting? And from the Chinese dad perspective, which is the perspective of fear and is the perspective of need and want, you like this knitting thing for no good reason. There's no reason to like that. And I would editorialize, there's no reason born from a place of fear that you would like that. And yet, you do like it. You do like it. And this is an example of a desire. These are your core, inherent, intrinsic passions. You can't explain it. I was just born like this. inherent passions and interests, which do typically nothing to help you survive or avoid emotional pain, money, and prestige, but which you desire anyway. These then are the foundations of your bliss and higher meaning and purpose. And we explain all this in the upcoming fall winter cohort, advising cohort. These are the foundations of your bliss and higher meaning and purpose in life, the desires that come from this deep and mysterious place deep within you. Now, the typical arc of life for most of us is we spend 80 to 90 to 100% of all our time and energy on just our needs and wants, all the things born from fear. And then we're running around, literally running for our lives, fighting fires all day long, and wondering why we have no higher life vision. And even more importantly, wondering why I'm succeeding in everything around my needs and wants, and yet I still feel empty. And yet I feel like I have no direction or purpose in life. I'm just working around running for my life in fear every day. Ulcers, I can't get out of bed, headaches, migraines, everything. To work and make money and prestige, which I'm actually, thank you very much, not bad at. But you feel like, what is the point? Am I just going to do this till I die? What is the point of all this? Right? And the reason you feel that way is because you're only focused, and no blame, all of us do. This is the modern world. Welcome to humanity, right? You're focused only on your needs and wants, and desire has gone out the window. Perhaps until midlife, right? Basically 35 and up. When we wake up one morning and we just can't do it anymore. We just can't get out of bed. Forget it. I don't care. I don't care. I don't need a better car, right? I just cannot do that. And I don't even know why. I don't have the vocabulary, because modern life doesn't give you a vocabulary for getting out of the fear-based need and want, sort of obsession. Right? And we realize at some level, right? We may not have the words to say, we realize that we have had so far, at least up to midlife, a life spent just on our needs and wants, which is amounted to a life of, abundant material abundance, but emotional and spiritual emptiness. And we realize in our wisdom at midlife that no matter how much more money and prestige we get and hoard, that is not going to fix it. Right? We have this feeling that I'm successful. Okay, fine. But something is off. Something is missing. And WTF, why am I still unhappy? This is precisely because we have abandoned our desire. And this part of you, which has veto power, right? All three, need, want, and desire, they each have independent veto power that they can throw down their veto and pull the emergency brake of the train of your life. And everything will that's why they call it midlife crisis. Right? Because desire is pulling the emergency brake, saying no more. And you didn't even realize desire was even a valid thing. And what do you call it? You call it self-sabotage. Why am I self-sabotaging myself? It's like, you're not self-sabotaging yourself. This desire part of you is doing its proper job in pulling the emergency brake to make sure you get back on the true track of your life and not go any further down this wrong track. Right? Not that need and want are wrong, but need and want, 80 to 90% and zero desire, that's definitely off. Right? All three. We want all three. We don't even want desire, woohoo, run off and join the circus and don't worry about need and want. Forget that. We want all three. Right? So if you're not going to woohoo, run off and join the circus and ignore need and want, and you're going to give need, want, and desire, all of them, full fair play, how do you do that? How are you supposed to do that? So the key is a method I call archetypal manifestation. And this is exactly what we're teaching in the winter cohort. The key is to find an archetype, which is an underlying elemental pattern of your life that will inherently accommodate all of your needs by default. It's like if you want to fly and lay eggs and eat live kill mice, right? And not just seeds and berries, right? There is an archetype, i.e. a hawk or a falcon, right? It flies, it lays eggs, and it eats live kill. There is an archetype, hawk or falcon, that accommodates all of these needs, wants, and desires naturally, by default, without breaking a sweat. And there is no contradiction between flying and preying on mice in this example, right? If you're a cat, you get to prey on mice, but you have fur, not feathers, and you can't fly. Okay, so if you're in the wrong archetype, you're like, why am I like, I'm getting the mice, but I can't fly. And it's, why am I blocking myself? Why can't I get the thing that will really satisfy me, which is to fly? And the answer is, it's not your fault. You're not stupid. You're just in the wrong archetype. You're in the cat archetype, which meets some of your needs, wants, and desires. But there will be another archetype out there that meets all of your needs, wants, and desires. So there is a 5-step process by which you do this, right? And there's a cohort, and we explain how to do this more in the video below. But that's if you want our help doing it with you and cranking on it over the next 3 sort of months of winter into the spring, which, by the way, the power of the darkness and cold of winter to like concentrate the quality of your insight and profound breakthrough around this. This is why seasonally we're doing this now at this time of year. Okay, so you can see that video for more detail. But we will outline the method, right, in other videos that I'll link to and send you on email, so that you have the method, whether or not you're able to join us in the cohort, whether or not you can afford and have budget for the cohort. We want to give you all the thumbnail of how to do it so that everyone has access to at least the basic method. Okay, so that's it. Email me anytime with any questions. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon.